Hello YouTubers, this is Benchmade55. The project I have going on today is building a goat house, and so I'm looking for some windows because I hear that goats like to have light so that they don't have some depression. And so found these old windows. As you can see, they're not too bad, old style, probably around the 40s, but the windows, all the glazing is cracking off and coming off. So the project is to start chipping away all the old glazing without breaking the glass. As you can see, I notice that the glass is already broken from the guy that I bought it from. So what you do is you use a putty knife and you start to gently remove the old glazing with a great bunch of care. After that's done, you'll notice that all along here that there is nothing holding in the glass except for the glazing. The proper way to do this is to use a push pin that you take the putty knife with and push it in there. And what that does is it holds the glass into the frame of the window. Then you go and apply the glazing on there using the putty knife, and you'll have to do this to all the panes. So it's a slow, tedious process, and you also have to be careful that you don't break any of the glass. So I'm going to head and sign off for a moment and get started here, and I'll show you when I start glazing how to do that and putting the push pins in. Okay, I got it all cleaned up. As you can see, there's another piece of glass over here that cracked when I was cleaning it up. But this is going to be for a goat house, and I just really wanted to get some light in there for them. And so I found these on Craigslist, and so I'm not going to invest a lot into this. So now that I got all the glazing, most of it out of here, there is some in here that's really hard to get out of there. And like I said, since it's for a goat house, I don't want to worry about trying to get it all out and then breaking any glass. And as long as it's not loose, it should be fine. So the next thing I'm going to do here is put in these glazier points. Can you see those? Okay, what they are is a little pin there that you take, and you use your putty knife and you take it and you push it into the wood that holds the glass down. So I'll take one over here, use a putty knife, and there you go, it's pushed in. And so I've already done a couple around there, just enough to keep the glass stable in there. Now what I'm going to do is use the glazing putty. See, it's a window, there you go, see that? Window glazing putty number 33. And that's what it looks like. So I take a little bit in my hand, just kind of roll it up a little, and take it and then start applying it into the sash here. So I use my fingers. You know, of course you can do it any way you like, but this is what works for me. And start installing it in there, and I'm pushing it down in there because we want to fill this whole area right in here, because this is making the seal on the glass so that no water can get into there. Then you go all the way around and keep working along and pushing it in. Now, it's a job that, you know, unless you do it every day, it's going to take a little bit of practice every time. And it's been a while since I've done a window like this. The problem comes in that you're using your putty knife on there to spread it all out after you get this applied, and sometimes it will stick to the putty knife, and what that does is it makes it come out and not make a nice smooth bead. But it's just like everything else, it just takes a little time to learn how to do it. So I have 3 windows to do, so by the time I get down to the last pane, I'll probably get halfway decent at it. Till the next time, if I ever have to do another one. They just don't make windows like this anymore. Okay, so that's probably a pretty good start there. Sticks to your fingers pretty good. One way that you can clean this up is with mineral spirits. So now I'm going to take like a 7-in-1 tool right here and take it along here and get to the corner there, and I'm putting pressure on it. I have it riding up against this piece of wood here and then down in the glass, and I'm putting pressure on there, and you can see how it's starting to come along. Well, there's part of the problem right there from not doing it for a while. So this is another way that you could get this in here and pushing hard on there and getting the excess off. I used to paint houses, and I had to do this on people's houses. Boy, it was just a tedious job. Here, at least I get to do it on the workbench, and so it's not as bad. Have the radio going, but when you got to do it outside on the side of a house, it's quite a job because there's always shrubs in the way or something. So let me try it this way here and see if I can get it a little bit better there. To cut it off. Up. It's trying to pull out again. This typically takes some time to dry too. I think it says on the directions 7 to 14 days, and then you need to use an oil-based primer and prime it, and then paint it. You can see that it takes a while to do a bunch of panels or panes. I imagine I could use a wider putty knife, but this is what I had handy. It's kind of like putting down caulking. It takes some finesse, and it takes a lot of practice to learn how to put down caulking. You can see how I'm kind of going in the corner there, and you can get a pretty nice corner there. Sometimes when you're pulling it along, let me get rid of that. You can go along there because I have a line and clean that up. But you see how it goes against the grain there. You could take your finger and then just come back the other direction. And that gives you a nice smooth thing. And it's one of them things though that you go to fix that one little spot that's not perfect and you mess the whole thing up. So I'm not going to go crazy. Like I said, this is just for the goat house, and they'll just have to be blessed that they are going to even get any light in there. So now you get the rough idea of how I'm going to do this. And I will not bore you with watching all of this, and I will continue on. Okay, so the first pane is done. You can see the lines aren't perfect and perfectly straight. You see some paint from the other side of the glass poking through there. And I'll clean it up a little bit when I get all done. But that's not too bad for the first one, as opposed to what it looked like before, having no glazing in there. And then over here, you can see how the glazing goes in there, secures the glass, keeps the water out. Okay, well, I better get back to work. I got a long ways to go.